When an individual passes away, there are several phases of afterlife events that occur. One is known as the embalming process. I spoke with James Lowry, a professional embalmer in the Kanawha Valley who's had more than 50 years' experience, about the art of embalming.
The embalming process is performed by licensed embalmers who have 4 years in education. They have at least 2 years of college, 1 year 12-month apprenticeship program, and a 12-month program in mortuary science. You can go 6 years and get a degree in mortuary science now, which wasn't possible back at the time I went to school. The pump that we use is a Duratronic, can get up to 90 pounds pressure, and we fill the tank usually about 2-3 gallons of solution. Then we use one of these varieties of arterial fluids. Now the base for all of them is formaldehyde. They've not been able to find anything else to use other than formaldehyde. They've tried other chemicals and have not been successful at it. You would simply take this bottle, empty 16 ounces of it to about 2 gallons of water, and raise a carotid artery or a femoral artery. And the fluid is injected into the carotid artery or femoral artery, and it goes through the circulatory system, and it washes out the blood. It does not drain the blood first and then inject the fluid. It's all one operation. It goes through the circulatory system, and these chemicals are absorbed into the individual tissues, which changes the composition of those tissues to prevent decomposition. Then we work on bodies which are autopsied, which means they have been, the procedure for that is making a Y incision. You sometimes see that on NCIS or one of those. And the organs are taken out. When we get a body back, the organs are in a plastic viscera bag. We have to add a stronger chemical, which is called a cavity chemical. This is almost straight formaldehyde. And we pour it into the bag, and the viscera is preserved in that manner. Then we inject the body. We have to hypo out the sidewalls and put the viscera back in, and then we have a powder called hardening compound. And we put that into the viscera bag with the viscera and also on the inside of the cavity, and then the body's sewn up. And of course it's ready for the funeral home.
In present-day society, embalming is practiced almost universally throughout the United States. Every day it is becoming more commonplace for countries around the world to embalm their dead. Today, the methods used to prepare the dead for burial are far more advanced than those employed in ancient times. However, the tools developed during Civil War embalming haven't changed much.
Arterial embalming, as we know today, actually got its start back prior to the Civil War. It came about being mainly due to the Civil War when surgeons discovered they could embalm bodies with arsenic, zinc, mercuric chloride, and so forth to ship the soldiers' bodies home to their families. From that point forward, it wasn't until the 1890s before undertakers actually began to do the embalming. And then, of course, it came into funeral home practices. They used to go into the home and embalm bodies, and then they started going into funeral homes and embalming bodies.
Reporting alive from WVSU Newsline, I'm Bobbie Spry.